Welcome to the driver's seat. We're wrapping up a week with the second generation 2023 Honda HR-V. The first generation was necessary. It was also based on the Honda Fit platform. So with the Fit platform, it's a much smaller vehicle. You had a lot less options for configuring a proper crossover for a lot of markets, especially the American market. Honda felt like they had this kind of what they call white space. Some people just felt the CR-V was too big and the Fit was too small, so they needed something in between. And the HR-V has been a tremendous success. In fact, in its last year, the 2022 model, it had its best sales year ever. And it's right there in the running in 2022 for being the leader in the segment, the volume leader. But now we have an all-new HR-V, and it's based on the Civic, which is appropriate. The Civic and Accord used to be the leaders of sales leaders for Honda, and of course that's all been taken over by crossovers, just like every other car company. So HR-V, CR-V, and Pilot make up the majority of the sales. Accord and Civic are still great sellers. A lot of people still like sedans, but for many people, crossover just makes more sense. And why not? It's roomier, has more functionality. You can get it with all-wheel drive, for example. Starting price on this all-new HR-V is around $23,000 for a base front-wheel drive model. That'd be the LX. You go up to the EXL with all-wheel drive, you're looking at $33,000, $34,000. A lot of nice appointments. Even though the car is bigger on the outside, has a longer wheelbase, on the inside, the dimensions are very similar to the outgoing model. So don't expect a whole lot of more room technically, but it does feel roomier. So I think a lot of that has to do with how they reconfigured some of the components. Under the hood, you have a 4-cylinder engine, 1.5 liter, making 158 horsepower, made it to a CVT. Nothing exciting there. Honda has basically ceased development on internal combustion engines. Everything that they are looking at in the future is electric. That's where Honda's going. So no more development on these kind of engines. And I mean, they'll still be around for a while, but the future for Honda, like many car companies, is electric. One thing I will say about the new HR-V is that the styling has been dramatically improved. The styling is obviously subjective. For me, the old HR-V, the outgoing model, was very unattractive, but this one is much sportier. You can just tell by the wider stance, the longer wheelbase, and also the like this new grille. So they have this kind of honeycomb design, which they've carried through to the inside on the dashboard. So it's nice to see these design cues kind of go from outside to inside. And even though it is a kind of an economical family car, at the end of the day, you still want to be proud of it. And I think this vehicle, especially in this color, is pretty impressive. Now you're inside the cabin of the 2023 HR-V, and as you can see, it's spacious. It has all the features you need. Of course, we have Apple CarPlay, which is kind of standard operating issue for most vehicles today. We have an analog gauge on the right for your speed, and a digital display on the left of the gauge cluster. Kind of the left 2/3. That's your multi-information display, as well as your tachometer, which is not that relevant these days. You still got some proper knobs, which is nice, as opposed to having everything be digital. Nice. This is dual climate zone, so you can sync if you want, or just have separate. I mentioned that honeycomb design, so as you can see, they've carried it throughout here, integrated into the vent. It's nice not to have just a separate vent, so they basically have one vent cover for the entire thing. Steering wheel is comfortable, properly wrapped, and you got, again, all these cruise control, all the safety features, Honda Safety Sense. So you don't have lane watch, which is the when you turn your right turn signal, you would get a camera, which they've had in other vehicles, but apparently they didn't feel the need to put it into this one. You still have a proper shifter that's connected, as opposed to shift by wire, where a lot of car companies have gone to. As you can see, even with the sunroof, plenty of headroom. You do have electronic adjustable seats, which are nice for a vehicle in this segment. Just well done, well thought of. And this is the way car companies work. When you have a high volume vehicle, you can do more, and you can put more into the vehicle because you're amortizing those costs across hundreds of thousands of units as opposed to tens of thousands of units. And so that's what you need to know, is that Honda feels this is one of their most important vehicles, and that's good for you, the consumer, because that means you're going to benefit from more content. So what you're hearing there is that CVT transmission, which we've been talking about for a decade. We don't love it, and once vehicles go all electric, it's going to be a non-issue because electric vehicles just have a direct drive, no transmission, no gears to shift. And this is not shifting gears, this is just a continuously variable transmission. That's why you kind of have that slight delay, and it is what it is. Again, consider the price point of this vehicle, and this transmission, what it does is it gives Honda the best fuel economy they could get, unless they were going to go to a twin clutch, which is not something that they're about to put into a vehicle of this price point. The CVT is the least expensive transmission. So when you test drive it, make sure that that's something that won't bother you. Back here you have plenty of cargo space, and you have split 60-40 split second row seats, very roomy, plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room. It is a vehicle that makes a lot of sense for a lot of young families. Previous HRV owners noted that the vehicle could be a little rough at times. So now that the HRV is based on the Civic platform, you have four-wheel independent suspension, which provides for a much better ride quality. And we put it to the test. It's a fine vehicle. It's still coming in on average about $27,000, $28,000, which is below what an average new vehicle costs in America. So it's still a lot of money, but for most people, this just makes a lot of sense. It's a Honda. I trust their reliability. I think they're going to, this vehicle could easily last you 150, 200,000 miles. And it's just a very practical vehicle that can do a lot. It's not exactly some massive off-roader or anything like that, but with all-wheel drive, you can certainly address all your climate concerns. And that's it. A wonderful segment. You've got competitors like the Nissan Kicks, for example, and others that go head-to-head with this vehicle, but I think Honda's really nailed it, and the HRV is what it is. I'm Ron Doron. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The Driver's Seat.